They were all deeply rooted in their personal story during their announcements. And I think that's critical and key across the board, because what the Biden administration is trying to show is how much each of these individuals brings to the table in terms of understanding the experiences of everyday Americans, right? So and talked about discrimination and understanding in his family what it is to be a minority as a family of Holocaust survivors. Linda Thomas Greenfield talked about being from the bayou of Louisiana, and she called it gumbo diplomacy. But she had to personally desegregate her local schools. She was the person who did that. So all of this influences how they look at the world and how they put people at the center of foreign policy. Now, with that said, I appreciate your slip up in which you almost called it the Biden administration previously, because Vice President Biden was former Senate Foreign Relations Committee chairman, was deeply involved when it came to issues like the drawdown in Afghanistan. And that is where there's some daylight. You see that Michelle Flournoy, who was considered the favorite to be the first female Secretary of Defense, there was daylight between her and the vice president then on how to handle the Afghanistan drawdown. She wanted more troops and got that. And Biden wanted at the time to be pulling out. So I think he's going to surround himself with people who are able to be forward-leaning and forward-thinking, and not just in terms of diversity, but also in terms of being able to think about the reality we have now, which has changed dramatically on the international front in the last 4 years. Well, there's certainly the excitement of being able to make deep change. And folks who work in policy and politics know that this is a moment not just to go back to quote unquote normal, but to course correct for things that have been wrong in America for many years. And so a disruptive moment is certainly very attractive to people who want to make change. And that's, people who want to make change are the folks who are attracted to working in policy and politics to begin with. But there's a big difference between working on a campaign and working in government. And I will quote from Hamilton, winning is easy, governing is harder. And that's the challenge, is you see every single person who has been selected so far in these top positions has decades of experience working in government and working around policy and with communities and the intersection of all of these pieces. So it's going to be difficult, especially with Biden going back 40 years of his own experience and people feeling very closely connected with him, for a lot of new talent to break in this moment. I think there's going to be, for new talent that's just getting started out, a lot of opportunities to make a big change in the state. And that's classic advice, right? You can be a big fish in a small pond or small fish in a big pond. And when any job opportunity presents itself, you have to evaluate what's going to be best for your personal career as well.
Nayyera, please tell us, who is the brilliant artist behind the artwork next to you as you are on the show today? I've heard there's this new artist out there named Idris. I'm just wondering if you could tell us a little about that work.
Idris was born actually on Trump's election night, and so it is a brand new day for him in America. We are celebrating with his artwork, which feel free to DM me on Twitter if you are interested in hiring.
I love that so much. Thank you so much.